Hello and welcome back to iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. This is Uncut Civilization VI. We last left off defending ourselves against Gorgo's army. They were on our doorstep and we had to kick them off. We successfully thwarted her invasion and moved on to her city, but we soon realized that our weapons were out of date and unable to damage her modern city walls. So we called for peace, and thankfully she accepted, because war weariness is a pain in the ass. A lot of little things happened over the next few turns. We had a spy looking for art in America. He got killed. On the other hand, our archaeologist Haley found more mummies, spears, and other miscellaneous artifacts, and she filled up our archaeological museum. And last but certainly not least, we recruited our first great artist, Claude Monet, and he made us a painting. Now let's listen to some quotes, aka some Sean Beanery, and get into today's episode.
The cars haven't advanced that much since we were kids. When you boil it down, it's still a gas combustion engine.
When they are preparing for war, those who rule by force speak most copiously about peace until they have completed the mobilization process. It has been demonstrated that no system, not even the most inhuman, can continue to exist without an ideology.
Okay, people, we are back once again in Civilization VI, and we are picking up a significant number of turns ahead of where we left off before. A lot has changed, and probably one of the most important things that you'll notice has changed is that Sheffield is now known as Bluenden, and that name was provided to us by Negavec88. So thank you for watching. Thank you for submitting a name. I am a big fan of Bluenden. I like it already. It feels very fitting for a mega city. I gave you quite possibly the name for the most developed city that we have at a population of 13. They've got a big theater square district. They're in production of a wonder known as Hermitage. We got a lot of stuff going on here. But the reason we skipped ahead a lot is because is partly because I messed up the previous recording. But the main reason is that I wanted to see what the status of the game would look like a significant number of turns ahead, to see if I was really on a decent track, and things are actually going significantly well. The financial victory that I had planned it seems like it's a possibility. Right now we are currently accruing 181.1 culture per turn, and we've got 57 tourism per turn. Pretty decent. We're getting more culture per turn than Japan, who is currently in the lead with tourism and culture. So I think if we keep going with the way we're going, keep doing the things we're doing, then we're gonna come out on top. So let's go ahead and hit that next turn button and hear some Sean Beanery as he talks about computers and the age of technology and how it's affecting our lives for the better or maybe the worse. I think that was probably the best Sean Bean I've ever done. So I should quit now while I'm ahead, but I'm not going to.
The good thing about computers is that they do what you tell them to do. The bad news is that they do what you tell them to do.
Ted Nelson keeping it real. And I had a feeling the quote about computers was going to be a positive and a negative because, you know, for all the good that technology brings us, it does come with its fair share of evil. Now, at this point, we have the ability to make a lot of stuff. We have the ability to research a ton of different things. But the question is, where do we go? Now, I've never built a plane in Civilization. I've never built an airport, so I feel like it might be kind of interesting to go to the air, you know, take to the skies, you know, see what we can get. Because I'm not really too interested in the future tech research, so I'm not trying to bum rush over in this direction. So I think we might try and play around with an aerodrome. An aerodome? Yeah, an aerodrome. So let's see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get some planes, start bombing some fools, you know. Because if the shit pops off, you already know we're gonna take over the world. So, in our previous, you know, sometime in all of the turns that we skipped over, we did recruit a great artist. This is Claude Monet, and whoops, not wrong button. Claude Monet is going to be making a lot of paintings for us. he's basically Claude Monet could win us the game, all right, because we've needed a great artist for a long time, and now that we have one, we're going to be able to do some good things. But, you know, the more I play Civ and the deeper I get with Civilization, the more I realize that it is a game that you can get into fairly easily. Because when I first picked it up, I just kind of jumped in, and it looks like I don't have that much to do on a turn-by-turn basis. I got a lot of just built productions queued up and everywhere, but not really too much to micromanage at the moment. But you know, when I first picked it up, it was easy to get the hang of it. The tutorial was simple. It explained everything. Oh, this is a district. You know, the female Sean being this is a district, and this is a warrior, and you use the scout to explore. And I thought to myself, yeah, I get this. I could play this game. And then, you know, you go through the first 50 turns of a solo game, the first 75 turns, and it's simple, and then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And it gets to a point where you go down the rabbit hole so deep that you can't get back out. Now let's make Claude. I don't have any landscape spots. Okay, here's what we need to do. We need to take a look at our great works, because we need a spot for a landscape, I think. Because something's wrong with Claude Monet. He's getting real particular. Oh, there, he has to be on the actual art district. Okay. I was wondering why he didn't want to paint, because apparently he's like, no, I must have a museum. I cannot paint without a museum. Okay, got another landscape. Boom, an impressionist sunrise. This is probably a real life painting. We don't know anything about that, though. I went to art school and I took an art history class. I don't know a damn thing about art history. I just know the Bolsheviks were a thing. All right, so we're getting up there with our paintings, and we're getting more culture. We're getting more tourism per turn. So right, you know, it's a rabbit hole, man. You start going down, and you get so deep that you can't see the sun anymore. And that's the point I'm at. I'm in so deep that I don't know which way is up. But I'm starting to get my bearings, right? But I say all that to say it's nice to play a game that kind of kicks my ass on a different level than Titanfall kicks my ass, right? Like Titanfall, when I lose at Titanfall, it's always matchmaking's fault. It's never my fault if I lose a match in Titanfall. But in Civilization, if I lose, a big part of it is due to the strategy that I was trying to implement at a given time, right? If I was implementing a wrong strategy, Claude Monet, get to work. Got another painting. Boom. Look at that. Filling up the art museum. Got one more slot to fill up. And Claude Monet's gone. Oh, no. I should have used him in this city all 3 times. What I did was, the first time I used Claude Monet was in BlueAirTopia, which is actually growing quite nicely. It's already at 12 out of 17 population. So it may, in fact, get to the cap at some point. And I guess once it gets over a certain hump, it'll start filling out the campuses and all these other spots that are missing, and then we can really start getting crazy. But what I should have done initially is I should have used all 3 of Claude Monet's charges in the theater square. And see, and this is going full circle. It's little decisions like that you don't realize so much are a big deal, right? And you don't, and that's a decision that potentially could cause me to lose the game in the long run. Like I don't think that is going to cause me to lose completely, but it's a possibility. Now I'm going to open up a trade route with China, with Nagoya, because China is in first place for the cultural victory. So I feel like if I trade with China, that will, like, my trader's gonna go and he's gonna start gossiping. He's gonna be like, yo, like y'all got some nice culture stuff going on here in China. In Japan. You know, you guys got anime, you know, and other things, of course. You guys probably have an electronics factory. That's real nice. But have you seen Bluenden? Have you seen the paintings we got? All right, so hopefully that actually does something. I'm not entirely sure how the tourism thing works. I I know there's a way to view it. I think let's actually check it out as soon as this turn is finished. Score culture. Yeah. Okay. So we can actually see how many tourists we have in any given spot. And I know BlueAirTopia has a completely filled up archaeological museum. Yeah, this is the archaeological museum with all the masks and the mummies that look like cats, and it's got two tourists, like two people are chilling, and they're visiting tourists, so they're from other places around the world. Oh, this is getting good today. And BlueAirTopia, at this little wonder right here at the Colossus, we have two tourists as well. So people are actually starting to visit. So I think what I'm gonna have to do, I'm figuring this out on the fly, is I'm gonna have to redivert, like as soon as Hermitage is finished, which will hopefully be in 16 turns. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to divert the traders from here to all the different cities that have paintings and shit, and send them to other places so that they can start spreading gossip. Like, yo, you see these pyramids in Quick City, son? These pyramids is crazy. And I'm pretty sure that's how culture works in this game. But that is the only way I can wrap my brain around the concept. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Angel City's not doing too well. But you know what? They got a mega campus over here, surrounded by mountains. That's getting a lot of science per turn.
Why is a woman to be treated differently? Women's suffrage will succeed, despite this miserable guerrilla opposition.
That's what I'm talking about. So we just finished the civic research for suffrage, and that means we have unlocked our final government, and that is democracy. This is a democracy. All right, so we get 30% bonus yields from district projects for having this. Unfortunately, I think we're going to lose out on 2 trade route capacity from switching to democracy, which is a little bit frustrating, but that's fine. But we're going to gain access to an additional economic policy and an additional diplomatic policy. So all in all, I think it'll be worth it. And then once we do finally finish all of our buildings and whatnot, yeah, I lost 2 trade routes in doing that, so we're gonna have to fix that. But hold on, I gotta wear my glasses. I'm not wearing my glasses, folks. Hold on a second. Okay, all right. I just went around and I changed up a bunch of policies, and hopefully I made some decent decisions. Actually, I'm going to switch over to reduce unit maintenance per turn. So, lever en masse. I think that's how you say that in French. I took French for 4 years in high school, don't know a damn thing. So, changed up the policies a little bit. We put on skyscrapers plus 15% production towards industrial era and later wonders. So, that's going to increase the speed at which we build Hermitage. We've still got the triangular trade, so we're getting an increased gold from our trade routes. The Merchant Confederation giving us gold per envoy at our city-states, 50% production towards spies because we are going to steal some art from somebody. That is the real goal. Even if we lose the game, we're going to steal something from somebody before this is over. All right, so we're going to start making some spies in the near future. And then another card that I swapped out that I haven't been using this entire time that I probably should have just defaulted to from the beginning is free scores, I think. Yeah, free scores. Plus 2 great artist points per turn. So that's going to help us get access to a great artist a little bit sooner than we would otherwise. I think we're already in a position where we're gaining a lot more great artist points than other people, but I don't know by how much. Like, we're getting 8.5 great artist points per turn. Japan is getting fucking 13. Jeez, I'm feeling a little bad about that. Looks like we still got some work to do. Yeesh. Well, let's keep going anyway. Let's keep going. Let's keep working towards it. Let's keep trying to get this going. And I guess we have to choose a new civic. So there we go. We got a democracy. We're putting in work here, people. We're putting in work. Oh, this is kind of interesting. So, cultural heritage, this will allow us to reveal the locations of shipwrecks. And it'll also allow us to produce the Sydney Opera House, which is a real building. This is kind of interesting. I think cultural heritage is going to be a good advantage for us because the heritage tourism plus 100% tourism from great works of art and artifacts, and we've got 6 of those. 2 of them are mummies, which are basically cats. So yeah, this is gonna be nice. So as soon as Hermitage completes. Oh man, I'm all messed up. So I messed up the recording, so I'm gonna have to come in and do a post-game commentary just to fill in the blanks. So as soon as Hermitage completes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build an archaeologist, and then once the Theater Square district is finished in Emerald City, I'm going to purchase with my financial might an archaeology museum or an archaeological museum. I actually don't know which it is, archaeological museum or an archaeology museum, or if the two are interchangeable. And then after that, it's really going to be a search for resources, right? I'm looking around the map right now for some oil, because oil is the limiting factor for me having tanks, and I want tanks because I want to be able to roll the might of the English Empire across the lands. And look at that, I found some oil. Found a little tiny patch of oil on this little tiny island, and look at that, it is possible for me to settle there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase a settler, and I'm going to sail him to this mini island that's just been sitting there, just being glorious all by itself, not caring what the rest of the world thinks. And I'm going to go get that oil. So just to finish the thought on the difficulty of Civilization versus the difficulty of other games is Civilization is a very cerebral difficulty, right? And it just makes you think about everything and about every move you make, and because it's a strategy game, right? But the difficulty in Titanfall and Xenoverse 2, which I wasted $40 on. It's a great game, but I didn't have $40 to throw around, and I threw around $40, so now I'm kind of broke. But it's a fun game for me because I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, so I'm just sort of living out that fantasy, throwing Kamehamehas around and shit. But it's just not the same sort of difficulty as Civilization. You know, I like that mental challenge. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do for today is we're going to move around some traders. Now, because we switched off from mercantilism, I believe, or the Merchant Republic, whatever the hell it was called, we lost access to 2 trade routes. So we've got these 2 traders that are just kind of sitting around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them over to Emerald City. And if I do wind up building another market and a bank in another city, then I will regain access to those traders, and those traders will do some stuff with Rome, because this is going to be the site with the new archaeological museum, and obviously people are going to want to look at the artifacts. I'm pretty sure that's how tourism works. It's that gossip, son. You got to start spreading them rumors about them artifacts, them mummies, those purified or petrified people. So the last thing we're going to do for today, the absolute last thing, is we are going to move our ironclad boat on top of our settler, just to give him that extra bit of protection on the off chance that there are still barbarians roaming around, but I doubt it. And we're going to take one last look at that oil, baby. That oil, we going to get it. And there's actually a goodie hut. There's been a tribal village living on this island at peace for millions of years. Well, thousands, but we are going to get that tribal village. We're going to get that oil, and then we're going to do some work. So let's go into that question of the day. Do you have a balanced game library? In other words, games from multiple genres. I've always had a pretty balanced library. I've always had science fiction, first-person shooters, side-scrolling, action platformers, RPGs. I get a little bit of everything. I'm a pretty well-balanced gamer. So of course, I do have my favorites. You know, strategy games will always have a special place in my heart, MMORPGs as well. But I play a little bit of everything. So do you have a balanced game library, or do you just have your favorite type of games and you're just not playing anything else, and you're not trying to hear why any other genre is good? So let me know in the comments below. As always, the name of this game is Civilization VI. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.